Good evening and welcome to the November 14th meeting of the Board of Selectmen. If everybody would rise with a pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening and welcome to those who have joined us through the internet. Well, not the internet, but cable TV. We're not at the internet yet, right, Dave? Coming soon, though. Right? We get going here tonight. We do not have any public hearings scheduled. Are there any announcements from the board? Nothing. Any additions or deletions to the agenda? No? Then we'll move right into appointments. We have two appointments tonight. Kurtis Bullard from U.S. Postal Service is here to talk about East Waterboro Post Office, or what was the East Waterboro Post Office. And then we have Chris Backman, who's the town's auditor, who will be here in a bit to talk about the annual audit. So, Kurtis, welcome to Waterboro. You can come right up to the podium here where we can get a good picture of you and you can speak into the mic so that we have good recording.
We'll get you a good side. Okay. All right. Great.
So welcome to Waterboro.
Well, I do appreciate it, and thank you for allowing us to come up here and speak about this proposed project to reestablish the post office in East Waterboro. First, I'd like to just outline, like I say, my name is Kurtis Bullard with the Postal Service. I work in real estate, and this is our community contact process. So basically, we just get in touch with the local town and schedule a meeting and have a comment period for 30 days. And then also within that comment period, we have a solicitation period that we usually run for, minimum 30 days, 45 days to see basically what the town may have to offer, what the community may have to offer for potential sites for this post office that we're looking to reestablish. Right now we're looking at a pretty decent size one. We're looking for a minimum of 1,500 square feet. This will be for our retail and delivery operation. So taking a general look in the town, we've already got the main post office here. Obviously, we've got some work to do in respect to what may be available, but that's one of the reasons we're here to open up this comment period. There may be some property that someone may want to possibly enter into a lease with us, or there may be some opportunities with just a retail already existing location, as we spoke about earlier. But in the interim, with the community meeting process, we'll have a 30-day comment period. We'll look at what offers come in, if any other concerns come in from the community. We'll address those with our management. And then if we find something that's going to be a viable option for us, then we'll come up with what's called a final determination letter and saying, hey, Postal Service has analyzed this, we've looked at it, this is going to be a good fit for us, we feel like we can make this work, and this is the route that we're going to go. And then if there's a problem from the determination letter, we have a 30-day appeal period for anyone to appeal that decision to say either it's a good idea or a bad idea for where we're thinking about going. Initially, since we already have a main post office here, I am kind of constrained geographically, but that's one of the reasons I'm here as well, is to see what may be available from the community in respect to private property or anything, or maybe if the town has property that we may be able to do something that may work for our operation. At this point, this is pretty much where we're at as far as just the opening it up, the conversation to talk about what we're doing, and then I'll basically just open it up for any questions anyone may have. My information is available at the post office and here through the town for any questions anybody has concerns with. My email, phone number. If they're trying to figure out, hey, what exactly are you trying to do, I'll be more than willing to discuss further and take it from there.
Okay. And Kurtis, your official title is Well, you sent us a letter, right? So
Yes.
that's what's on the letter is,
Yes,
you're the
real estate specialist.
real estate
Yes, sir.
specialist. So you're gonna handle, everything that's kind of involved in this?
Yes, a real estate specialist is just a title. I really consider myself a project manager. I started from cradle to grave, so I'll be the point of contact for all questions. Now, as far as construction, we have our own construction and design internal people that will do all the work, aside from whatever maybe a property owner will build us a shell building. We do that a lot, and then we'll come in and finish it out for our specific design.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Yep.
So all the options of new construction, existing building, everything is just wide open?
Well, in some context, yes. As far as actually going out and acquiring a piece of property and building a stick-built building, we really don't do that much anymore. Rarely do we actually purchase anything. What we would do is come in. Let's say if someone owned a piece of property and said, "Hey, I'll be willing to lease this property with you, and then also I could possibly build you a shell building and then do a lease there." And then we would come and finish out that building for our needs, and then basically he would recoup his investment over the course of the lease, basically amortize it. We've done that a lot. That's a pretty effective way for us to do business. Part of the issue is, one, finding a viable piece of land and finding a developer that's willing to do business with us in that framework of a lease. Most of the time we want to buy and sell, but we just don't do that anymore.
So that would be your least preference would be to do something on the U.S. Post Office's dime, in other words, buying and building and all of that. You would prefer not to do that.
Right. Yeah,
So if there is a retail space that would meet your needs available, that would be, that certainly would be the quickest turnaround, right? I understand you're gonna do some, improvements to the facility.
Sure, yeah.
leasehold.
Yeah, if we could find something, usually like in a shopping center, because in a lot of respects, I've got to have, the mail has to flow. It's going to come in through the front and it's going to go out through the back. So I need as much access to the front as I do the back. So I've got to have room back there. A lot of spaces we can manipulate how we need to, depending on cost to the space. So it's basically a case-by-case basis. What is going to work for us? There's a lot of different options, but as we all know, it is real estate, and a lot of things can get in the way as far as us actually standing up a building.
So and you said you were gonna do retail and
Delivery, yes.
delivery. Anything else? Questions? Comments?
15 years ago, 12 to 15 years ago, you was looking for a 5,000 to 7,000 square foot building, and you was going to move all of the Royal deliveries into the East Waterboro Post Office, and make the two that we had here in town, the other two, just the post office, and all the delivery would be out of the East Waterboro Post Office. Is that completely off the table completely, or is that because you was going to move the deliveries from Hollis, Limerick, Parsonsfield, Newfield, all of that right out of the East Waterboro building when that was on the plan before?
Yeah, I've heard some talk about that, what had happened 15 years ago. I'm not sure why that didn't work out, but I'm going to look hard at, one, what are our options to consolidate. But unfortunately, I have a mandate from the Postmaster General that basically says we can't close a post office in its current form. So that really puts us in a difficult situation to maintain this footprint, even though logically we may say, hey, why can't we consolidate this? Try to save some money, But at this time, I've got an approved project to reestablish the East Waterboro Post Office at 1,500 square feet. So I'm not, it's not a large facility, but it's also fairly large in consideration. You've already got two post offices here. So I'm willing to look at all options, because you never know. If the right thing comes along, And I have to basically pitch it to my management and say, hey, look, this is a viable option. We need to look at it. And let's put it on paper and see if they'll willing to
If you
do
need
it.
the paperwork, I got it.
Okay, all right, that sounds good. You know, we love our paperwork, that's for sure.
I don't throw anything away.
Yeah, you know, like I say, I've seen projects completely do a 180 because the situation changed, the space changed, the politics changed of the town. Who knows? There's so many different variables to consider. But this is why we're here initially, is to have the conversation, start throwing around some ideas, get some feedback from the community, and take it from there.
Okay.
Any
Any other comments from the board? We'll open it up to anybody from the chair public want to speak. Jack?
Sort of along the same line, is there a rationale for a third post office, besides the fact that you've been mandated to do it? Is there some thinking about why we would need 3 post offices in this town?
There is a rationale, but the mandate trumps all rationale at this point. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to my
that's
management, but I see the numbers and I'm like, why can't we do this? You know, so it's a challenge for sure. Especially in my respect, I have to come here and build a post office and deal with these challenges. You know, so,
And I
yeah.
think to Dwayne's point, back 15 years ago, that was what was really on the table, was a
Yeah.
consolidation.
How many
Well-
more years of lease have you got on the South Waterboro post office?
I'd have to check. The only thing I've focused on is the what happened with the East Waterboro and the emergency suspension, and you know,
I mean, that,
while we couldn't stay there. You know, usually when I get this information, it's what's that now?
I think we have 6 years left on it.
Okay, all
I mean,
good, good.
that building's been for sale for 10 years now.
Right.
So, if that's sold and she's saying you only got 6 years left on the whole contract, you may want to look at a centralized post office. I
Right.
know South Waterboro is going to be that's why it went out the window the last time, but.
Right.
uh,
Well, usually what we'll do is, for like our standard practice, they'll flag it when the lease expiration is
Yeah.
2 years out. I wish it was earlier, because to tell you the truth, to actually have a project approved and physically come out and do our process and build it, 2 years is a short time frame.
The
Um,
design of that other building that they was talking 12 years ago was quite a loading dock on the backside.
And so they were,
Customer service on the front side.
and they were able to come up with a plan to do that, but for some
Yeah.
reason something didn't work.
Was it just the Waterboros that it was gonna be together, it was northeast and
Yeah.
South Waterboro was gonna be one
Back then,
building?
they was not gonna close the North Waterboro post office because of the volume. The volume out of Lake Arrowhead and the upper,
Yeah, the carriers.
there was volume enough going through the doors to hold that one open. And I think that one's still got probably 20 years of lease on it.
I don't know.
Well, I mean,
So,
from what I've seen, I mean, all the post offices in the town are doing well financially. I mean, they're bringing in a lot of revenue. I mean, I do a lot smaller post offices with much less walk-in revenue that we're reestablishing. So that is a benefit. I'm not sure. I'll have to speak with
They
our.
really wasn't talking about closing any of the, I'm gonna call them royal retails.
Right.
Boxes. It was to centralize a community,
Carriers.
carriers, yeah. It was
Right.
mainly for the carriers, but to eliminate 2 of the post offices. One of them was South Waterboro and the other
Right.
one was East Waterboro.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, like I say, I'm relatively new to the Postal Service, but I do know that originally they were like, all right, let's close a bunch of facilities. We need to trim some fat. So they went in and started doing all this work. Now we've cut, but we've cut too deep, and now we've got to kind of reevaluate what's going on in respect to what's going on online. You've got bigger volume. We need more space. So 10 years ago, we didn't need that much space. Now we need more space. And we can't really pivot very well because we're so large. So it takes time to move the ship, so to speak.
Yeah, and Amazon is making everybody, they're the dog and everybody else is the tail, right?
Yeah, they're definitely a powerful force, that's for sure.
Delivered on Sundays and everything else.
Yeah. Which our folks are
The lady in
delivering,
the
which is
back in
quite
blue
unique.
had a question.
So, yeah.
I'm sorry?
The lady in the back in blue had a question.
Okay. Was there another question? So, you're gonna stay in touch with, and for what we know is available, I mean, that's built already, certainly does. We can consolidate some of that and feed it to you, and.
We talked a little bit beforehand about some places he could look
Yep.
at. I'm sure he has his feelers out for the real estate market.
So this isn't this is gonna happen soon, this is sometime next year, right?
Yes.
I mean, when you just started talking, you're talking 90, 120, at least 120 days till you get to the point where you put the final determination letter out, right?
Yes.
Somewhere in that neighborhood.
Given the fact, we're coming up on the holidays, so, probably sometime around January, we'll have a decision. Really depends on what comes in, as far as locations. If we have something that looks really good, then I want to strike while the iron's hot and try to see if this will work for us.
Okay.
Then we have to go, we have to select the site. I have to get all our district folks and operations to sign off on it, and then enter into a lease, and then award construction. So, it has its own linear process.
So does this start the 30-day process?
Yes, yes. And if it needs to be extended, because we need more information, that's completely fine. Sometimes I'll do 90 days if the town needs it, and I'll just amend the letter, resend it out, and then usually that'll coincide with the solicitation letter that was sent out.
Okay.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Do you normally use local contractors, or do you bring in your own crews?
We have a national contract. However, they do have a lot of subcontracting, and that will filter down into the community to hire those local contractors. As far as that process, they have their own separate division that does all that work.
The subs, they sub it out.
Yes, but part of our deal is if we can find a developer that'll build us a shell building, he'll have his own contractors, which will support the local economy and be a benefit in the context of construction and just overall work going on. So we look at it as kind of a mutual benefit.
Parking space in front of that building, how big of a parking lot? You got any idea at this point?
I need 6 customer service parking. I need 1 handicap, and I need 2 employee parking plus the 2 carriers. So total, that's 12.
Yeah.
12,
15
yeah. I didn't,
spots.
yeah, right. Mhm. So,
So you're not talking a lot of volume, the cars are coming and going, so
Mhm. Right, yeah, it won't be,
it's
yeah,
not a big parking lot.
no, but we'll still need it. If it's in some kind of retail center, it depends. The parking is something I deal with on every project. And I'm completely fine doing it up here instead of in Manhattan and Boston.
Yeah, I think the other preference that you said is retail in the front, everything else out the back.
That's correct, yes, sir.
Okay, so in and out the front doesn't work, or it's not preferable,
Now,
right?
the mail needs to come in through the front, it needs to go out through the back. It's basically a door swinging both ways.
Yeah.
So we have to have that back dock. And
So any property that would be available would have to have an access out the back.
right, or we could build it. We do that a lot to where we have enough funding to go in there, and if the landlord is okay with it, to put a back dock on his building, then we'll work it out.
Okay? Anything else, folks? Well, we appreciate you coming.
No problem.
And certainly appreciate seeing some activity going, because I'm sure most of the folks that use the little post office there for years in East Waterboro would like to see it come back. And we'll see if the clock starts here, how soon we can.
On the main drag,
Okay.
now, are you requiring a building on the main drag of 202 and 5?
That would be ideal. I've got to get a little bit better lay of the land. I thought I'd have a little bit more time, but daylight savings is cut now. I'm going to drive around a little bit and see what I can see. But I've got some folks that work in the area that'll be able to help me with that. And of course, get some feedback from everyone here. Tell me, it's going to be, I like to always say it's going to be your post office, so give me some ideas about where you'd like it, within reason, of course, with the existing space.
You're only talking a couple acres.
Right.
Even if you start out and build it.
Correct.
15 or 18 parking spots.
Right,
20
yeah, I could
20
do this for an
spots.
acre,
Yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
So, 1,500 square foot building is not
The
that big a
medical
building.
building, we're good for all this, we've got it.
Yeah, I'm sure you've had that discussion, right?
We'll go out and have that. We talked about other things, but I'll follow you out.
Okay.
All right, great. Well, I appreciate
Again,
everyone's
appreciate
time.
you coming and,
No problem.
and giving us a status, and, it sounds like things are starting to move, and that's good.
No problem. All right.
Thank you.
All right, everyone, have a good evening.
Thank you.
Yep.
I'll leave a couple of my cards here for
All right. Okay, Chris Backman. You're gonna tell us whether we have any money, right?
Yes.
Well, we know we have money, it's just,
Where is it?
Is it all in the right places?
Kind of shape we're in. You all have a copy of the draft?
I think if you have a hard copy, or we've got it online here, so. Where are we going first?
Page 46, Schedule 1. This is where I like to start. Tells you everything.
Okay,
So this is the budget to actual. It shows the left hand what you had budgeted to take in for revenues and how you plan on spending them. First two columns is budget. Third column is the actual. The fourth column is the difference, the variance.
yep,
You started July 1st with a fund balance of $4.2 million. Collected roughly $13 million worth of revenues. Spent roughly $13 million. You ended the year 4.150 of fund balance. So you went down in your fund balance roughly $200,000. The budget tells a different story though, because if you read the budget side, you had used $500,000 of your fund balance to balance your budget. So the intention was to sink your fund balance by $500,000.
you know, they went down by 60 some odd, right? Or whatever.
Correct. So if we skip to page 51, it gives more breakdown of the detail of the revenues.
Okay, that's Schedule A.
On Schedule A, page 51. And then pages 52, 53, 52 and 53 give a little more detail of your expense side of things.
So we were actually, if we look at revenues, I will go back to that page 46 or whatever it was. We had a bit of a windfall with excise, right? It was, we had budgeted 1,164,000 and we came in at 1.3, almost 1.4, so 220.
Yeah, page 51 gives a little more detail of that, of the revenue schedule. You'll see exactly your auto excise, you had a positive variance of 218,000, and your boat excise, you're $1,800, $1,900 to the good. So the page 46, I think you're looking at,
Yeah.
it kind of combines all the taxes together, and intergovernmental revenues.
So the homestead reimbursement, does that mean that the state owes us 41,000, or, I mean, we budgeted $182,000, did we not know what we were gonna get?
Well, it went
I
up.
couldn't answer that.
No, okay.
It went up in this fiscal.
Right, so we'll
Yeah.
have to have that discussion, but if we only collected 140, I guess that concerns me, that why would we have budgeted 182? Isn't that part of, come out of the assessor's office of what we're gonna get reimbursed for? And I guess the next question is, if we should have been reimbursed that much, why didn't we get reimbursed that much?
Is that in 2 payments a year, Julie? Homestead?
Yeah, but I'm looking at your revenue summary reports from 2017, and homestead reimbursement came in at 165,000.
Well, this says 140, so,
That's what we took in. So we were 24, but if you look at your reports for what you've got right now, we're ahead on your homestead for 2018's budget.
no, I guess so that's the question I guess I have is
You
did
get
we get
the payment
did
for
we get
last year.
something from the state that was owed last year, but they didn't pay it till this year?
Yes, sir.
Because we don't accrue it.
Traditionally, they pay 75% of in the current year, and then in the second year, it's the balance of
Well,
the
that's
25.
that's the manipulation of the state budget.
It's exactly the manipulation of the
We
state
should
budget.
use some of that, right, occasionally.
I wish we could.
Some of those, we're gonna pay you only 75% this year. Okay. And we still don't, we accrue expenses that come in July that were in the previous fiscal year, right?
Correct.
But we still do not accrue revenues that come in that were,
We do.
okay.
I'll look at this.
Okay.
You know, I don't know if there was an adjustment to be made, or,
So we should be, I get the answer, if I phrase that in a question, should we and do we accrue revenues that were expected in 2017 that didn't come in until after June 3rd?
we should.
We should. Only for that month though, right?
Yeah, because we're in here in the 1st of August, first end of, you know.
We stopped doing that as of August 1st.
Right.
Well, revenue, you kind of don't have a control over it. So revenue, the expenses you stop, you know, because you have that control. But the revenue, you can't control when the state's going to pay you, you know. And so even if the state did pay it in August or September, you know, we could still technically accrue it or record it as a receivable.
So did you make a note there that the 182,498 for homestead might possibly 165 even?
Well, I think the 140 is what? The actual
What came
revenue.
in, right?
Yeah,
But according to this report, it shows that there was
only 140.
140 out of the 180.
Yeah.
But if what we were bookkeeping was 165, I guess
Yeah.
I'm not sure how we got to 180.
And as of right now, we're $99,000 ahead in this current budget
So,
for your
so the
homestead.
state paid us for stuff they owed us from last year.
Yes, sir.
Correct. So it's still in a draft mode, we can make that adjustment, and that'll just add to your fund balance.
Okay, what's next, Chris, anything? I mean, those 3 or 4 pages kind of tell
It tells what you had planned on doing and what you actually ended up doing, you know, for what your budget was and what you actually hit as far as your budget goes.
So given that, and I guess we would have to look at where we are this year on our own a little bit, but, you know, we had a plan to take $500,000 out of the fund balance. We didn't accomplish that. We came woefully short of that. And from a financial perspective or health perspective, that's good, but the fact of the matter is that we're raising taxes based on the fact that we're gonna consume $500,000 out of the fund balance, and then we didn't spend it. So, you know, we didn't spend, well, we had excess revenue come in, and we didn't
Your
spend
excess
it,
revenue helped out on that use of the surplus.
But wasn't that skewed by the salt shed loan? Wasn't over $300,000 of that 500 extra? That salt shed?
No, the salt shed's been removed. This is just the general fund. So the salt shed is in the back. It's special revenues or capital projects, and we move it to the back to take that skewing effect out, you know.
There's nothing in there for, in the revenues, there's nothing that, I guess I would say is, yeah, it's all pretty specific, right? I mean, taxes, rescue billing, you know, all the way down through to all the fees, interests.
Yeah.
Cable TV, franchise stuff, the miscellaneous receipts. We budgeted and missed huge. I don't know why we would have budgeted 109 and we only collected 18, so. I mean, but still, we were still 180,000 rounded, $180,000 to the good from collections.
Correct.
And then when you get to the expenditures, you know, on page 52, administratively, we had 28 that we didn't spend. Assessor, we were short in spending, but that's because we had a break. We were still $106,000 to the good. Well, general assistance was 30 of that, so who knows
Parks and
what
Rec's
that.
up over 40,000.
Yeah, he was separate here. I'm looking at what people spent, or what we didn't spend, I should say. Of course, Kevin, we only started mid-year, right? So there was
50%, yeah.
there was some of that money. Fire department, EMS was 67,000 that they didn't spend. So. But other than that, there was no real big ticket items. I mean, the Public Works only didn't spend 22,000 out of a $1.2 billion budget. So, in essence, I guess you could say they used it all.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Chris, the reason I asked that question about the salt shed was of the 567 that was unexpended in the expense report that we have at the end of year. When I go back to the salt shed funds, it shows in that same report 294 that was unspent, if you will, from salt shed funds.
So which department is that?
86.
So that department falls outside of the general fund. And so that expense,
Because it's a loan?
because it was a loan, and so it was a 2-year project. The salt shed bond was in fiscal year 16, and you started it in 16 and finished it in this year.
But if you look at not spending over $500,000, comparing apples to apples, 300 of that on paper is the salt shed money that's still in this.
I'm not disagreeing, but that's a complete budget of the entire town.
Yes.
Where the 2 or 3 pages, we're only looking at the general fund, which is the tax money, where.
But that's not in that Schedule A.
Correct. So the salt shed.
Schedule A is
Salt shed is not.
not in there.
No, the salt.
No revenue, and there's no, and then Schedule B is the expenditures. There's no expenditures there because it was capital, right?
Exactly.
Well, you had the capital outlay was in, I mean, the capital projects was in there, but.
Yeah, page 60 it is where we take this salt shed and the different grant funds, the capital projects, and this is where we remove them out of that general fund so it doesn't skew your general fund. And so there's $365,000 worth of expenses
So
to the salt shed.
Yeah. Okay. capital fund balance is what's on that right column, right? Down at the bottom, page 60.
Yes, so that these numbers will all dance up to the front of the report.
So in your report, I noticed that there's a whole bunch of blank spaces for
Carry forwards?
accounts. You know, the different accounts, dedicated,
Yep,
designated accounts, I guess is the word you
yeah.
So we just haven't plugged those in at this point, or?
We didn't plug them in by the time the draft was released. We got the numbers, and then we got hit with the storm and lost all the power and internet. So I have new numbers that will fit into this schedule. I didn't want to bring another report and compare
that's
apples.
fine. Page 43 was the other question that I had, was related party transactions. And we're now out of that business, but in last fiscal year, we still had, how long was Doug Public Works Director? 3 months?
Get done the end of September.
Right, so that would only be 3 months that we have to address there, right? This is the statement that
Yeah.
the town's road commission owns a business that provides,
Yeah.
so.
So there's four or five things that were needed when this draft got released. And Julie had got 3 or 4 of them, and I pulled the schedule together, the missing piece.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I think the other one was page 34, was all the crisis reserve and
it's exactly what
community
it
garden
was.
account and all that stuff. So we now have those numbers?
I have those numbers,
Yeah.
you do not.
Right. So your next and final report to us has all those numbers.
Exactly.
Questions? From the board, yep.
For those that are listening and those that are here, me included, I find this sometimes a little hard to follow all of this. So to get to the bottom line, how does the town stand financially? What's our report card based on how well we have managed the town's money?
So you've managed the town's money fantastically. You're in a healthy spot. You have a significant fund balance. Page 15 is where that fund balance goes, and everybody wants to know, what's my fund balance? Gary has a couple questions about the breakdown of that fund balance. You know, so the fund balance number, the $4.1 million, your ending fund balance, traditionally we break it up into classes, and there's different types of classes. And Gary had a question, what's the difference between restricted fund balance and committed fund balance? And restricted is someone has called for that money, that access to that money of fund balance, but it's outside of the town. It's either state legislation or bond documents or some type of other outside entity. Is USDA gave you a grant, you can only spend it on this project. So we need to restrict that money for that project. A committed fund balance, the authority to commit that fund balance comes from the taxpayers. They say they want you to hold this much money for a sinking fund, for the crisis reserve, you know, that is where, so the difference between restricted and committed is the authority. You know, the authority's outside, the authority's inside. This board has their own carry forwards, that's assigned, you know, and that you making that decision, we want to assign this. So that's the 3 different classes. So when you get down to the last, what's the unassigned? That's what everybody wants to know. What's our undesignated?
What's assign mean? Assign.
Assigned, the board makes a decision to carry money forward, to carry, you know, certain
So
things.
that would have been whatever we carried forward
It
at
was
town
press
meeting?
405.
Well, the town meeting is committed, because the town people are the ones that are giving you the authority.
If article, whatever usually used to be 4, but.
Keep carrying these
Right, and
as
we
voted
carry
in
that thing over,
97.
that goes into restricted,
Nope, committed.
committed, okay,
Restricted is outside. There's an outside entity
all right.
that's restricting the use of this.
Dennis, that would be like your conservation committee, we can't touch
Yeah,
that.
right.
And your carry forwards was in the excess of $108,000. And that's what's showing in your budgets for 2018 that you have your figures. The carry forwards have already been added.
Yeah, and I guess, you gave Gordon an answer, but, and let me chime in a little bit. I think from a financial perspective, we're in very, very good shape.
You're in great shape.
The problem is that we go into a budget season saying we really have a very, very healthy fund balance, and we need to utilize some of that and start to draw it down a little bit, which we attempted to do this last year. We've attempted to do it the last 2-3 years.
Correct.
We never draw it down.
Correct.
Because we had revenues that came in above what we expected, and we
Yep.
had, so my conservative friend here on my right, who over,
Come on, you pushed me to 95%
Under-
excise now.
over, undercommits and over delivers, I think is the word that
Bob?
we use in a P&L. So I think we just need to be more aggressive, because I think we've tried in the last 2-3 years to reduce the fund balance. We don't, by any stretch of the imagination, need a $4.1 million fund balance. And I know.
On paper, you don't.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
But you can't continue to grow the fund balance and increase taxes at the same time.
I would agree to that.
So if it happens because of whatever.
Money coming in.
Yes.
That's one thing, but
Yeah.
if we physically say we're gonna raise taxes, now, we cut back on we systematically cut back on the overlay, some of those things in this budget. A couple of years ago, we've done it again in this,
Yeah.
the budget we're currently in. So we'll see how that happens. But,
Right.
I just don't, it's gone from 3 million to 4 million pretty rapidly here in the last 2-3 years. So, and I understand with the new charter, we have to have that 1/12
Correct.
of untouchable money, if you will,
Correct.
as a crisis fund, but
Yeah.
doesn't mean that we can't use that crisis fund. We just have to come up with a plan to replenish it.
Yes.
So I think our job, we'll take a kind of a test a little bit here as we, in this budget here, but I think we need to be a little bit more aggressive of what we're spending, and I think there's also, a good opportunity for us to take a big chunk of money, put it into a capital fund, and so we don't have to keep going back to the taxpayer every year for capital. So there's got to be a way that we can roll this back in here.
There's exactly a way.
Yeah.
You know. And to take that and to segregate it again.
Yeah. Yep.
In that same vein, this relatively small amount that is uncollateralized and uninsured, if you will, I'm assuming we should put that in a collateralized and insured account. Would you suggest money markets or?
I would talk to the
CDs?
bank. The bank has products that they can offer you or direct you to. Your suite, might not be the best product. Maybe you need to pull some of that out and collateralize it for better investment, or maybe they need to give you a better collateralization.
And there's a state law that limits what we can do with investing.
There is, and I would talk to your banker. I'm not claiming to be a banker, but there's different.
Well, we've had the bank here, and they've, I mean, I can remember a few years ago that they said, this is what we're gonna give you, all right? I mean, it was, you know, I mean, they all would love to compete for this a little bit. And,
Correct.
you know, we just kind of sit back and say, okay, we're gonna keep rolling on down the road, but we ought to have a little session with them and saying, you know, we need to sweeten this pot a little bit.
Well, on page 30, I'm looking at that 252,000. I mean, yeah, we could put that in the sweep account, but I would think we could do a better job with it in terms of interest rates, since we get next to nothing for the sweep.
Did you say it was page 30?
Page 30, top of page 30, first paragraph.
So that's not in the, that doesn't get swept with everything else? I thought they took every account that we had and swept it.
No.
No, only the general checking.
Only the general checking is being done down.
All right, so maybe we need to have a session with them. Although this year was up, right, I mean, we're still not getting squat. I mean, I can remember years we used to get $160,000, $180,000 in interest.
Yes.
Right now, we're getting lucky to get 80.
0.0.
I think this year was 60, right? Any other questions of Mr. Backman while he's here?
I do.
Yep.
I apologize, maybe you did this while I was out chatting with Kurtis. Page 9, please. Didn't know if you talked about the reason for the $1.7 million difference in the unassigned line.
Because we haven't pulled out the 1.7 of crisis fund and,
So that includes the 1.2 crisis then?
yeah, I calculated a 1165,
Okay.
but we just haven't pulled that out. That 4.15 million of your fund balance, we need to reclassify it differently. You know, the number's not gonna change, it's just gonna dance to be all the carry forwards of 100,000, the 1.2 of the crisis fund. So we're gonna move money into that.
Didn't you have the crisis fund called out with its own line last year?
We did, it's on page, it's the highlighted on page, it's in the notes. $34. So it's that,
Okay.
it's that highlighted
Gotta
yellow.
Put it in there.
And so,
Okay.
Yeah, that was the one I was asking about.
yeah,
Budget blanks.
so I had a budget, I used the 2017 budget, you know, and I came up with 1.164,200. And so I put 1.165 in there
Okay.
for crisis reserve. So that'll get moved up to committee.
And can I take you to page 26, please, just for a word change here, I think.
Sick time?
26, yeah.
Yeah.
I think instead of unused vacation leave, it should say unused sick leave.
Yeah.
That's it from me, thank you.
And you still have in here, I didn't get into all of the details, we still have the liability from EcoMaine on landfill closure as a future liability.
Contingent?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's-
no. Did you get out of Eagle?
No, no,
Oh.
no.
We're in a landfill that we may have to help take care of.
But you still have it in here, I guess that's my
Yeah,
question.
I'm looking for
I
it.
didn't get into the reading every note.
That has to be there until we...
Well, until the-
Should be right near Doug's note.
The
Whatever.
intent is, by EcoMaine, is to have enough money to pay for that, so that we don't go back to the municipalities, but should things not develop, and that money is gone, then
They're coming after you.
municipalities
They're coming
will have
after
to
you.
pick up that hunk of change.
43.
Page 43.
It's only, it's 500 and some odd thousand, right?
546.
Okay. Get us a clean one so that we can vote yea or nay on it.
Yeah, I didn't want to bring an
Yep.
updated one, so
What's your schedule, Chris?
this week, you'll have it this week.
So we could entertain that 2 weeks from tonight, then?
Sign off.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's looking good?
yeah,
Okay.
You don't need to be here
yeah, we can do that.
unless somebody's got questions. Delay it.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris.
Okay, let's move on here. Public comment. Any comment from the public? Don't see any hands go up. So correspondence, the treasurer's reports, motor vehicle, excise tax reports, Representative Prescott's newsletter, Senator Woodsome's newsletter, all in our correspondence. If anybody's interested in any of that, please see Sherry. Or I think you can pull them from the packet, right, online. Report and staff initiatives, selectmen's reports. Gordon.
Just on behalf of the board, we'd like to extend our condolences to the Hamilton family. James Hamilton passed away on November 2nd. He was a long time resident of Waterboro, born in town here in 1920. So he had a long history here. So another note, and I know it'll probably be echoed by other members of the board, but I think that the staff, both the town staff and the volunteer crew that we had at the polls for voting, I think they did an exceptional job, and they all should be commended for the work that they did there. On a sort of a personal note, saying the Pledge of Allegiance at the beginning of this meeting, took on sort of a whole new perspective for me, because I had the great privilege of attending the memorial service at the Vietnam Wall this Veterans Day down in Washington, and if anybody has the opportunity to get down there, they really ought to go, because that's a very awe-inspiring thing. And then we went over to Arlington Cemetery and watched the changing of the guard at the Tombs of the Unknown Soldier and the laying of the wreath over there, and it's just incredible with all the different monuments. So it just come away with a whole different perspective on things and a whole different feeling about it. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Ted, anything?
Nothing at this time.
Wayne?
The ZBA workshop last Thursday night, very well-attended workshop. They've got 3 or 4 cases coming up between November and February, I believe. So you'll see a little bit from them. I just want to commend the town crews, state crews, CMP, and all the out-of-state crews that we had here in the state of Maine last week, getting the power back on. Got a few complaints that it didn't come right back on. I think you got to understand that they was working night and day, and some of them guys worked over 90 hours just to get the power on. They were sent home a few times just to catch a nap, but I think they did a wonderful job, and thank the good Lord for warmer weather that it wasn't in the middle of the winter, but some people had the power turned back on and went back out, but by the end of the week they had power. So, and especially a comment on David's crew as far as getting the town roads opened right back up.
2 people.
Yeah, two employees, and they work through the weekend to do it. And a lot of times you'll see a tree down. How come the state or the town crew hasn't cut it up? Well, you can't cut it up if there's wires involved until CMP or Verizon or telephone company has got there to get their wires out of the way. So sometimes we have to wait just a little bit to give them patience. So just a thank you to everybody.
Okay, anything else, Wayne?
Should do it.
Tim?
Just to kind of dovetail to what Dwayne is saying, I think while this is still fresh on our minds, I know Selectman Doyle and the newest member of the safety committee a couple times have said that that committee doesn't really have a mission. And as I understand it, Waterboro doesn't have a Red Cross approved shelter. We did get off easy, it was warm. But I think that would be a mission for that committee is emergency preparedness. And on top of all the people that Dwayne mentioned, I think some of the people behind the scenes are the local stores and restaurants that keep selling gas and kerosene and food because they're on generator. I think they're kind of superstars of an outage like that. And I left at 5 in the morning on the day of that storm, right in the middle of it. And the trees that were down on Deering Ridge Road had already been cut up and cleared at 5 a.m. So thanks. You got me at work. Monday morning, right in the middle of the storm. It was like a hurricane. That's it. Thanks.
Okay. I am all set. Gary?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think we're going to revisit the storm 2 weeks from tonight, a little more detail, so I won't dwell on that. I appreciate the comments. I'll make a few of them. Let's talk about some of the HR things. Recreation Director hiring update. The submission deadline is next Tuesday. As of yesterday, we have 13 applications for the Rec Director, and I would welcome a selectman to be on that interview team along with David Benton and myself. The deadline for the librarian's applications was today at 3. We have 9 applications, and I'm happy to report that the majority of those, it's either 5 or 6, have either library science degrees or extensive library experience or both, which is a great feeling that we have in terms of that number and that level of experience. And stay tuned for more information in terms of who will actually form the interview team on that. I'll touch briefly on some of the storm things. Some of the comments have been made, and I won't repeat them. DPW worked extensively those 2 days. Fire department, over 30 initial calls. Did some work with the RSU to have showers, cell phone charging, and water available at the middle school over a couple of days, Tuesday and Wednesday. And the generator went over to the food pantry to help save 4 freezers of frozen food there, and Cleo was so appreciative of that. We had the radiator die in our generator at Town Hall, so we lost internet and power on essentially everything here. So thanks to the man over in the corner, Mr. Dave Lowe, we picked up our server and just moved the whole operation over there in less than 2 hours, and we're back up serving customers in terms of licensing, registering cars, etc. Over at the fire station, we did that for a day and a half, and we moved back here Thursday morning. I think the biggest complaint we had was people just not knowing information from CMP. People would rather know if they're not going to be somewhere for a couple days in the neighborhood or a town, they could just tell us, and then we could plan accordingly. And that's really not what their website says. It says, you know, a day out in the future, but to know more definitively that they're just not going to be around would be, I would think, easy for them to tell certain areas.
Actually, there was a website on that telling it would not be on today or the next day. And you could point right into your own house.
On the CMP site?
Yeah. You had to have your account number. But there was 3 of us in Scarborough working, and you could punch that in, and it would tell you whether your house had power or not. And I thought that was kind of amazing on that website. Now, what it was, I don't know, because one of the other guys had it on. He immediately went to Clark's Bridge and Things Mills, and
That just told you if it was back on?
Yeah.
Yeah, people were looking for.
And then on the bottom, it also said how quick they thought it would be back on.
Okay.
2 days.
The page that I looked at that had all the screens, it either said Saturday the 4th or it said assessing.
Yeah.
That was
Right.
it. So, I mean, we didn't know, what does assessing mean? Today, tomorrow, next week,
Yeah.
next month?
Well, we were gonna discuss this tonight in the hearing. We talked about pushing it out a couple of weeks only because we didn't know how long the 2 sessions would take here, but, you know, that's something, and I certainly, you can't praise the linemen enough and everybody that did everything. But I can tell you, I lived as a selectman through the ice storm, and the communications in this storm, I think deteriorated from where we were back in '98. At least we had the EMA and we had meetings every night at the high school, and everybody knew how many crews were working what towns and everything, so
I think that was Bob
if
Bolton's.
nothing else, that made everybody feel better, what was going on, but I think, anyway, we'll have that discussion later.
Yep, Tim made the comments about we do not have a proper shelter. Had this
Right.
been the 3rd week of January, we would have been sending people to Bitterford, Saco, or
Yeah.
Sanford for regional
Right.
shelters. Moving on to winter, since we got blessed with a little bit of that yesterday, we didn't get any bids received by the submission deadline for the West Road sidewalk cleanup. So we re-advertised the bid, and hopefully somebody will actually bid on time the next time. Election wrap-up, casino question failed here, 67 to 33%. The Medicaid expansion question 2 passed, 51 to 48. The bridges and highway bond passed, 61 to 39%. And question 4, the Constitution Amendment on Main State Retirement passed, 55 to 45.
Just a comment on your vote yes on one. I have seen, I've been halfway around the world here today in the truck, but they are out cleaning up the signs, so I give them
Yeah.
Well, they have 2 weeks,
compliment.
right?
Yeah, and they've got quite a crew out there cleaning them up, so.
Well, for all the money he spent putting them out,
Yeah.
he could spend a little bit cleaning
Yeah.
them up, right? So-
But there is a lot of signs on
Yeah.
some of these other questions throughout, Cumberland County that have not been cleaned up, so.
Yeah, yesterday we had a good meeting in the afternoon with 11 York County town and city managers here with the MMA, looking at their strategic plan, what they're going to concentrate on in terms of their own function and their own products and services that they offer. We talked about marijuana, we talked about next steps there, we talked about the next legislative session and the wrap-up from this past one. And the 10-town group, which still calls itself the 12-town group, but there's only 10 towns in it. There were officials from Waterboro, Buxton, Hollis, and Shapley that attended the meeting last night with the same subject matters. And to let the Board of Selectmen and the public know, there was Little Ossipee Lake Campground is going back before the planning board. This is for a conditional use permit to expand. It's not a full site plan review. So if you're interested in doing research on that, it's Article 4 of the zoning ordinance. And just so the public knows, a public hearing is not required by the planning board, but if they hear concerns from the public, then they certainly can have a public hearing. I would think they would, but that's up to the planning board. If you want to make any comments, you can direct them to Planning Department Assistant Tammy Bellman here in the office. That's it from me, thank you.
Okay. Any questions, comments? Bridget?
Is there a date on that conditional use permit discussion?
They're going to the planning board December 6th. And by ordinance, that has to be approved, I think, 31 days after either it's submitted or probably, it might be 31 days after that December 6th meeting.
Well, if they continue that may change it a little different, because if they continue it and have a public hearing, that extends the date.
Both sides have to agree to the continuance, I assume. Yeah.
Okay. New business, discuss to appoint a community garden member for a term which expires 6/30/20. We did not interview this person, but we probably should have. What's your pleasure there? Bridget has submitted her request to go on that committee until June 30th, 2020.
Make a motion, we approve Bridget going to that committee.
Do I have a second?
I'd second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. All right, discuss the vote to approve the state game of chance licenses for Massabesic Lions Club for their Beano and Seal tickets.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Moved, do I have a second on that?
I'll second that.
Have been moved and seconded. Any discussion? I think we got a review by everybody, right?
Yes.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Item C, discuss the vote to renew state malt, spirituous, and vinous liquor licenses for Woody's Sports Grill located at 38 West Road.
So moved.
Been moved, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed?
I'm going to abstain only because of the last name.
Okay. Discuss possible changes to the employee appreciation dinner.
I was gonna bring that up. That was my question. Because we should get planning that if we're going to.
Well, the problem that I see, I'd like to talk and get your philosophy, is that the fire station's not big enough. And firemen just essentially stopped coming because they can't come and bring their families and other people can't. So I was thinking about summertime, hire a pit boss and go to Friendship Park so that everybody could attend with their families. And then it would truly be available to all employees and
Oh,
their
it's sunny.
families.
The trouble with that is trying to find a weekend that you can do it, that there ain't 15 things going on. But it's the same thing with Christmas. I mean, there's always something going on the closer we get to Christmas. But we had done it down to the snowmobile club, and you can get 60 people in there. We've done it in the past down there.
That's even smaller.
Yeah, that's even.
I would think if you went to Friendship Park, decided to go there, and you advertise it now, people can put that on their calendars around everything else.
I think that you would get more family involvement if we did something in the summer. I still think that, even if it's just maybe an afternoon social thing here where people can come in and have, cookies and cider and whatnot, and if they wanted to stop into the town office here just for, stop in and wish everybody, Christmas wishes or whatever, or holiday wishes, they could stop in here. We could have, like I said, cookies and, some cider and drinks or whatever, and if somebody wants to drop in, they can drop in. If not, then, so at least we have kind of a little bit of a social atmosphere if somebody wants to come in and
Well, if one of the arguments was that they didn't get a chance to bring their families and stuff, but why couldn't we have Santa Claus out in the lobby for all the kids to visit with?
Well, you could do that. Yes. I do like the idea of doing it at Friendship Park or something. I think,
That makes a lot more sense.
yeah, I think that would be,
It's a lot more relaxed, because you have more space that it's gonna be on.
Kids got a
we could even
playground
maybe
there.
entice somebody to have some music for us, right?
I'm sure we could do that, Dave.
No reaction.
He's focused.
We'll have to schedule a jam
Sorry, I
session.
was daydreaming for a second there.
Yeah.
Think in the summer.
We could have music at a family, at an employee and, yeah.
I heard you play rhythm and sing.
So we could do that. So that would be my vote anyway. And then if we want to do something, then let's just do something socially here and, pick one of the Friday afternoons. But we can talk about that if you want at a later date.
throwing it out for consideration.
Okay?
More people.
Why don't we tentatively plan something this summer and maybe get a group together and put that planning effort together.
Safety committee?
Okay? Old business. Discuss vote on the operations manual for the transfer station recycling center. Step right up there, Clint.
And I tried to tell Clint he could go home, but he was adamant, he was gonna stay here, so God bless him.
So while you're up there, I'm gonna make a request that you guys work on this so that, I know it has to go to the DEP, but it doesn't really have to be approved by the selectmen, it has to be approved by the town. I think Gary could surely, as the operations manager of this town, approve it, so. Anyway, I know the words, the words in there now. are for the
Always
selectmen.
been, always
So,
been.
That's fine.
We change it to, won't continue to be.
So page 4, right, Clint?
Page 4.
Page 4 of the document. In your packet.
Which is on page 120, 124. Go.
Bottom of the page, unloading packer trucks
Yep,
and household compactors, dumping the packer trucks.
yep.
It's all the information, the procedure we have to use. I just thought because somebody got hurt down there, maybe we better get this in there, because the next time he comes around, he's gonna look to see if that is it in there, you know. I think it's just smart.
These all new bullets, or were they reworded?
What do you mean?
These bullets under household compactor and dumping for packer trucks.
That's all new. That was very little in there before.
Yep.
No procedure really at all.
I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah. I did change some of the telephone numbers, but it's just minor stuff, really.
The rest of it didn't, substantially didn't change.
No.
So what is your pleasure here, folks?
Move to send it to DEP.
So I need a vote to approve. So
Got a motion there.
I need a motion and we need a second.
I make a motion to approve.
We got a
Already
motion, I
got
need a
it.
second.
I'll second it.
Okay. Been moved and seconded to approve as presented. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries
You got a head shake.
5-0.
I got my hands
So
full
we
of
will sign
paper.
this off, and thank you, Clint,
Sure.
and David, and
While I'm
Gary.
thinking of it, the dog officer, or the animal control officer, called me the other night, and he had a big ram sheep that he needed to pick up on the Things Mills Road. Has not found the owner of it yet, so.
And I'm not the owner.
No, Clint's not the owner, but
Caretaker.
he's the caretaker, because the dog officer has asked his father to take care of it, so we find the owner.
so if anybody knows,
dinner?
I have no idea who it belongs to, but you need something for the.
how far do they travel if they get a
Well, this,
Keep
he
it for someone.
gets
Use
sent
it for
on
dinner
a
at
dog call, or an animal control call, to pick up a miniature goat, and when he got there, this animal weighs probably 150 pounds.
Yeah, but if it got loose from somebody, how far?
Oh, I've seen him go from North Waterboro to Leamington, so, I mean, this could come off the middle road, or,
So we
You'd
contacted
think somebody would be
the other
missing their
towns.
goat, though.
I don't know
It's
what
been
he's
posted
done.
on
Yeah.
social media too, so.
Maybe somebody just wanted to get rid of it.
I know a fella up on Chadman's Ridge, probably 30 years ago, lost him, and they found him over on 117, so.
There'll be somebody from Massachusetts who'll try to tag it.
No, it's all caught.
She's got it.
She's here.
He's got it in the trailer.
Yeah,
so.
put it away.
She's ready to go home. She didn't know if you wanted to.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
next item, discussion, possible vote on changes to the personnel policy. So everybody's had a week to look at this. What's your pleasure here? 2 weeks, 3 weeks, since we've been here last. This does incorporate the drug testing for the CDL driver, correct?
Yes,
And then the
separate
other-
wording, but we'll
Right,
pull it
right.
together if
The
you're
other
okay.
words that, the other stuff that you brought up the other night. So what is your pleasure?
Make a motion to approve as written.
Okay, do I have a second to that?
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
I still have some questions in here for some of the areas that I didn't get answers for, nor did I ask for them 3 weeks ago. You want to go to those green sections since we're in the discussion? You've got a motion and a second, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Page 23, please.
Did you get an answer to one at the top of page 21, Gary?
Top of page 21. Yes, that was clear
Okay.
last time around.
23 was, question was, the 5th week?
Yes. Eliminating 5 weeks of vacation and bumping up the longevity bonus, if you will, in section 8.11, which is now at $39 a week for over 20 years.
I mean, I thought,
I'd rather
although we
pay,
didn't take a vote, we all seemed, I thought that the general feeling was is that that made some sense. What's,
okay,
okay?
so
I
I'll
agree.
eliminate the 5-week category and
Add the extra
come up with a
longevity.
number?
Yeah.
Okay.
What else?
Page 26, please.
My page is not numbered for some reason.
On page 155 in the packet.
The page numbers don't show on your... Oh, okay. In the middle of the page, the somewhat arbitrary $9,000 health and dental cap. I mean, I could use some philosophical direction here on whether you guys want to keep that, adjust it, or go with what we're going to provide for coverage.
I thought we had pretty well discussed this 3 weeks ago, that we're gonna have one plan and one plan only,
Okay.
right? And I think we're already at the,
We're there now with the
Right.
present employees.
so,
Okay.
didn't that answer that question?
Yeah, I like the answer too.
Right.
I'll keep asking questions if you're going to be like this, so.
Well, I mean, we said there was nobody else on any other plan, so it's easy right now.
Start
Nobody
making-
loses anything, you just fix it and that's it. From this point on, it's,
Okay. And I think that was it of substance, unless there were any questions on the drug aspect, which we, Sherry and I haven't pulled that back in and made that a separate section, but
no, that's fine. You're gonna,
we will do
do
that.
you want to vote now, or do you want to restructure it? I think we can vote on it, and then you can put the file together, right?
Yes, yeah.
I will amend my motion to say, make a motion to approve, subject to the changes we've just discussed,
Okay?
Okay.
rather than as written.
And who was the second?
I'll amend my second.
Tim?
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Go up or down, Dwayne?
Yeah.
All right, discuss and vote, review vacancies on boards and committees, especially recent. Who came off from the Saco River?
Sean Shoemaker.
And he doesn't want to go back on, I take it?
His term ended, right, Sherry? Yep.
Not interested in going back on? Okay. All right, so for those of you that are out there and watching this, here's the opportunity to serve the town. Certainly the cemetery committees, we're looking for all the volunteers we can get, as well as the community garden committee. We have certainly two recent vacancies where we had some folks resign, but we put one back on tonight. Conservation Commission, we have 3 vacancies. Economic Development Committee, we have 2 vacancies. The Fair Hearing Committee, we have 1 vacancy. Library Board of Trustees, 2 vacancies. Old Home Days Committee, as many people as want to get appointed. Planning Board, we now have one vacancy. Public Safety Committee, 2 vacancies. The Road Review Committee, 2 vacancies. Saco River Corridor Commission, 1 vacancy. And I think we have a one person in an alternate, right? Do we not have an alternate anymore?
On the Saco River Corridor?
Yeah.
I don't believe so.
I thought we at one time did, that's okay. So we need somebody to represent the town on the Saco River Corridor Commission. Yes.
I just wanted to let you know that late this afternoon I got an email from another community garden member that is going to resign effective December 1st.
Okay.
So that's 3.
And 2.
We
Put
just
Bridget
filled
back
one.
on.
That's another resignation, which makes 3. Isn't that what you said? Another resignation or another application?
No,
It was
another
another resignation.
Okay, so
Yeah, so
that was
we
three
lost
3 total, and we put 1 back on.
Yeah.
So we have
Okay.
2 plus. And then a transfer station recycling committee, and we probably ought to talk about whether that committee should now be a sustainability committee that looks at all of the things within the municipality that we're doing that are sustainable, be it recycling or the transfer station. I think that at one time it was a recycling committee, then there was this transfer station committee, and then it kind of combined, and I think really what we're looking at now is, there are some things that need to be looked at. And
Is there any committee at all at this point? No.
I mean,
Hasn't been for a couple of
Yeah.
years.
no, I don't think there's
Bob
anybody.
Gobiel and I was.
people, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So we really need to rebuild that committee, and we're in the same boat that we were on a couple of committees a few years ago where we had nobody, and we really need to start something and put them back together. So anyway, we're certainly looking for, and I guess I would request that maybe we put a few dollars in an ad and run this again, and both of the local papers that we're looking for volunteers, and put the application there if we need to, and we've run them before. And
I've had a contact with a young lady down South Waterboro that would like to meet with us, maybe in a workshop, on how to get the community together or to advertise to the community to what is going on or what, she's got a game plan, but I wouldn't dare tell you exactly what it is. But this lady would come into a workshop and present what she's got advertised to the town. And
Well,
this may be something that we might be able to use to advertise the town meeting, was my thought when I got off the phone with her the other night.
Well, the other thing that, out of the comprehensive plan, the 2020 committee, there was a lot of discussion about creating a position in town for to manage the volunteers or
Volunteer
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 coordinator and
coordinator.
stuff like that, so,
paid.
yeah, paid position, and we really need to pull the trigger on some of that stuff, so.
Send her in if she wants to talk to me. Talk with Sherry, go from there.
Start from there, anyway, get something scheduled. Okay? Discussion on the warrant. Gary kind of passed out a straw man, I guess I would call it. I think it would benefit everybody if we pulled some different warrants from different communities that now do this all referendum, and you're gonna see a whole smattering of differences. I think when I pulled up,
Can we
Hollis
have
was
two
like,
ballots? And I'm just sitting here thinking about this. If somebody come in and wanted to vote the whole warrant up
Yeah.
or down, could we have one vote, yes, no?
I think we
Or-
could- I think
and
we could
then
do that.
somebody else come in and say, I want to vote on each article.
I think you can have that all in one article, one piece of paper,
One
right?
piece of
One would
paper,
say,
yeah. The
you know,
first one, I want to vote it all up or down.
because I don't see, if we're gonna use an electronic accounting system, I think you're gonna have a, kind of like an answer sheet, right? I mean, you're gonna have a sheet that we can quickly plug in the article, and I don't see us
I
listing
just,
all.
this is the first time I'd even thought about it, but,
Yeah, check
something to
here if
check,
you wanna
yeah.
approve all the articles, right?
yeah.
In understanding it, if you check that, they're all gonna get approved, so
it
any
would say-
other things that you mark on this thing,
Yeah.
it's
Kick
not
it
gonna
out
count.
now.
It's gonna
Right.
kick it out, so, or two separate pieces of
Now,
paper.
let's look at that, see if that's an opportunity.
How about the amount that I cut it down and the way I simplified by, there's gonna have to be a separate document here with all the details. If you go to the second page of what I gave you, that first article, Article 7, the bottom one on that second page, has, I don't know, a dozen or 14 different categories that used to be their own warrant question in themselves. And that was my big starting point there, to combine all of those, I call them general government things. And then from
Well, I
there-
think you gotta do that, but I think, to me, the actual ballot is gonna say Article X, shall the town raise and appropriate X dollars for government expenses pertaining to general government. And you're gonna have something that is gonna explain all that. I don't think you gotta put all this stuff on that.
So you would even take that out off the ballot this time around, this first time around?
Well, I think we oughta look at. Did you pull the one from Hollis? There was one from Kennybunk too.
Yeah, Kmunk was a single question. I did look at Hollis's, I didn't bring a copy of it.
Well, that was
Standard.
a long,
Well, MMA should have a list of all those that do it by referendum, I would imagine.
Oh, it's not hard to find plenty of examples.
right.
But there's gonna have to be a separate document that we either, have readily available or mail out to everybody in the town, whatever we decide on doing. And
But the actual ballot, you can't have a 10-page ballot.
no, but I got this down to 4 pages. And that doesn't, for instance, the LD1 article, if we don't need it, I just wouldn't put it on there unless we have to. You don't have to vote LD1 if you haven't exceeded that limit.
Right.
All the marijuana stuff before, that's all gone, and some of the things on the front page, gonna be
Yeah,
a
you
little expensive.
might have to put a little more definition in the language.
Well,
but-
each one of these voting booths, couldn't they have the
reference.
stuff, the stuff that you're not voting on, which is half of that, page of page 1, can be posted right on the voting booth?
What if you broke this down into, let's get back to the 2 documents. One for all items that have requests for monies, and then all of the other articles that in here that we have to do, vote to authorize municipal officers to accept gifts, right? No money there, right? So that might be a second page to the warrant, or the back of the warrant, that just shows, these are all the non-money articles, right?
That whole back page.
And these are the, I don't know, we're gonna have to, I think we ought to get some samples and have a little workshop here and kind of.
Well, I'm not hearing from anybody that I've cut it down too much.
No,
No,
I don't think this is asking too much. What would this take you, like 10 minutes of that, to go through these 4
I was gonna say,
pages?
if you get it down to 4 pages, and I think right here, it'll go down to 3, if we can post some of this.
that's true, if you could put some of it, right.
The carry forward ones, I could easily You
I
know,
mean, on the ballot, you're not gonna have all of the minutia up front, right? The greetings and all of that.
Right.
And they elect a moderator.
Well, I
and-
assume not, but Christine seemed to think we have to elect a moderator.
Well, you're gonna have to elect a moderator to oversee the.
Yeah, but you can
the,
elect a moderator by a voice vote.
But why do we need a moderator?
Yeah, there's no
Uh,
There's still somebody
because he's-
that oversees the ballot.
You're over,
But isn't he wearing his warden hat?
Well,
for doing that.
moderator, quote unquote, warrant. I mean, you call them,
You
but
had-
the moderator
the
is
other,
gonna
the other
moderate.
morning, you had to elect a moderator to
Right.
open that. So you're gonna have to do the same thing.
I mean, we call him a moderator, but you're right. In other municipalities, it probably is a warden,
Yeah.
right?
So,
But to open the polls?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
To
And he-
oversee the election.
Even though the town clerk oversees everything, he's overseeing the town clerk.
Right. He oversees
Yeah.
the whole election.
I mean, I think you're right, because this is still a town meeting. It's a referendum
Yeah.
vote, but it's still a town meeting, so that's why I left it in there. I think it's gonna have to be.
But you don't need a quorum for that vote.
MMA should be able to tell us that.
Yeah,
But
you
the
don't
polls,
need
what
a-
did you guys do with the polls? I mean, you didn't have,
No, in the
We have
the
25.
charter, the new charter doesn't have,
Yeah, that's-
that gives us a
That's
provision that you only need 5 or whatever to open the polls. So, that's not a problem anymore. You used to have 25 or something like that, but it's interesting, I think, you found out that some municipalities, sometimes they use the secret ballot, sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have an open vote, but
They don't have a charter, they can bounce between each one, and
so
Nobody's
I
squawks.
guess, Gary, maybe next round here, what would the ballot look like?
okay.
What are we gonna give to somebody and say, go
Well,
go
this-
mark the
This
checks?
ballot's gonna be bigger than this, and you might be able to get that split right in half so that you've got voting
On both sides.
2 sides, and it can be flipped over, so this could be all on one piece of paper.
11 by
Because-
17, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
I think you can put this all on one sheet.
Because some of those-
and it's gonna
some-
be turned over, but.
Some ballots, well, we count some, yeah, people would have
And
to
then,
flip
and
it
then you'll
over.
have another one to vote your selectmen, school board, and water district. You know,
Right.
So you'll have 2 ballots. but-
Municipal officer
Yeah.
election.
But that's gonna be right here, isn't it, on the first page?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be. It can be on a different ballot, because the water district's on a different ballot,
Oh, that's right, too.
so.
But the vote that was 2 weeks ago, that ballot had a front and back.
We don't have to, Bridget, we don't have to count the RSU 57 ballots separately, though, at the polls.
But they are a separate ballot.
Yeah,
They are?
Well, they were written, yeah, they're those awfully.
yeah, it's a yes or no vote, right?
Handwritten paper ballots.
Oh, that's right, because one of the towns in RSU doesn't use machines, so until that changes, we have to hand count the ballots.
That's a really.
So let's look at what this would look like in a condensed ballot.
All right,
I think from the way you've consolidated the departments is fine,
all right, that's a good starting place.
then we'll go from there.
Okay, thank you.
And then I think, we need to run the paper test a little bit and grab 15 to 20 people and say, how long do you think it would take you to vote on this? Right?
Speed
As
reading
you're doing
class.
it,
Bring your big glass, right?
And then you get the joker that's gonna vote no, 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 or yes,
Well, that's
yes,
right.
not even
And
read
don't
it,
make the
so.
font too small.
Okay,
yeah, I mean, a lot of people
That's the problem.
have sight issues.
yep.
Well, the
They have
smaller it
they
is
have those
too, the
bars,
less,
don't they,
less
that
time
you
you're
can
gonna
bring
take
into
to
the
read.
booth with you to put down?
What?
We do, yes.
Yeah,
magnifying
they're a
bar.
Oh, we
magnifier,
have those.
magnifier bars.
A lot of people forget their reading glasses, so we just say to them, listen.
Yeah.
My
All right.
guess is you're gonna see a lot of absentee, so they're gonna be able to take this home.
We're gonna push
bring it
that
back,
hard.
And And I think this is where this young lady might be able to help us.
Okay,
Gary also mentioned sending out, doing a mailing of a sample ballot
yeah.
to everybody the first year.
It's expensive.
Well, I think the other thing you gotta do is, and it's very
Right,
similar to
doing
what you
business.
can, I think you can consolidate that to some extent in, like the RSU does. They issue, I don't know what it costs them to send it out, but they send that little booklet out, right? It's folded a couple of times, and that has everything on it.
Well, fire department has a bulk mailing certificate, and we can use that, so.
Okay. Anything else on that you're gonna bring back?
All right, we'll design a ballot. I don't know if you'll have it 2 weeks from tonight, but we'll try.
Okay. All right, item 11, other, discuss and vote to approve the minutes of the October 24th regular meeting.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Pending decisions, we've got the comprehensive plan task meeting. We do have the central station improvements, and we are having a workshop
Week from tonight.
week from tonight.
That's with the
Yes.
fire department, right?
At 6 o'clock. We doing it here or the fire department? Doing it here?
I assume we do it here. I think we should televise it.
Is that the one public safety is invited to?
Yep.
Yep,
Attend?
yep. Week's action list. I think you've got what you need to do there. Agenda items, next meeting, we're bringing back, what was the one that we were bringing back?
We're gonna have a storm review.
Storm
We
review.
took that off. I also have something new here, Dennis, is that the Hollis contract for the transfer station.
Yep.
As far as I'm concerned, you folks can go ahead and approve an extension for that because I think it's worked well. And you got a rough number for, are we around 150 to 200?
We're around probably 200.
Yep.
We just started to pick up from last year.
Yep. As far as you're concerned, it's gone okay?
Yes, yes.
You might just reach out to those guys and see if they want to come in and meet with us.
Well, I talked to Roger and he said, only if you need us.
Okay.
Other than that,
Fine.
everybody's happy and
Fine.
he would be fine with approval on this end and then we can just get it to them for them to
Yep.
sign.
Anything else?
Sherry, do you have anything else for 2 weeks from tonight?
I don't remember. I know we're gonna discuss the CMP, who can approve those poll permits.
Poll permits, that was a poll permit thing.
Because what we did before was the liquor license, right?
I think the only thing that needs is turn that poll permit over to
Yeah, I think all we need to do is.
Tammy or Glenn in the Public Works.
Right, well, we just need to discuss and vote on it, that, yes, this is where we are, so.
Assign it to somebody.
We had it on here, and we took it off. I really didn't know how long,
Yeah.
the front end of this meeting was gonna be, so. All right, sensing that is everything, I'd entertain a motion. Oh, let me just remind everybody, the minutes of the October 24th meeting have to be signed. Operations manual for the transfer station has to be signed. Massapequa Lions license has to be signed, and Woody's license has to be signed. Other than that.
You're asking if there's anything else.
Yeah.
When are we gonna have the first meeting on this exploratory committee for a community center?
We have to appoint the people first. You haven't done that. I assume that in some of your minds are probably waiting for the new rec director and librarian, which makes sense. I just assumed that's why we hadn't done anything in that regard yet.
Okay, I just wanted to know where it stood, that's all.
Yep.
The other thing that I get, there's some road issues, like, that have been brought to our attention and we've really not done anything with, like the Grist Mill Road, which is now, what do we call it? Not being in the right place, or there was a whole issue.
Out of the right of way?
Right. Remember we met
Miss
with,
Woody's.
we met with Charlie Brown and Doug,
Good catch.
because the way the road is and way property lines are out correct or something. What do we call it now? That used to be.
Little L-shaped road in south of Waterboro goes around behind Cozy Corner.
Holmes Road.
Thank you.
Holmes Road.
Holmes Road, yes. To resurrect that, we were going to invite all the people to a meeting to consider giving us any necessary easements to cut a tree and move a pole and cut that corner off. And stop the ability to plow snow in the people's
Yeah.
front living room.
The other road issue, and I think this might go back before your time, but there was an issue with Deering Ridge Road on this end, where the road is and where the property lines are supposed to be. And I think, again, Charlie Brown and Doug had all of that laid out. And I think it's a matter of correcting deeds, or issuing correcting
When you
deeds.
say on this end, on
Was that in front of Sue
Townhouse
Dunlop's
end?
house?
Townhouse end, yeah,
Back when
Yes.
that happened?
yeah.
Do you know what that means, David? I don't understand the situation.
There was a print, the layout, and I think Charlie Brown had it, Doug had it here, but we've never done anything with that.
One of those is
Somebody
signed
actually
by-
owns the road because the right of way ain't
And
where
where,
the
and
road
where the
is
road
laid out.
is on people's property and et cetera.
Doug had it surveyed when he put the pit in,
Right.
and he found out that
Okay.
Sue Dunlop's land was actually in the right of way.
Road is not in the right of way.
Right.
I wasn't part of the decision, what they decided to do about it.
Well, I think we were gonna move forward with it, but, you
I
know,
don't think we've ever
I don't
gone.
think it never went
It
anywhere.
wasn't my day of the selectmen.
No, this goes back probably 4 or 5 years ago.
I thought they worked it out between the two.
But I got thinking about that the other night when I drove down around that little loop on Holmes Road, and I'm going, oh, we never resolved this.
No, that one we did.
We're doing the video for it.
Right, right.
Aerial, so.
Kind of a bear, I think we're gonna have to do on that.
And,
Wasn't that sent to Natalie, if I remember right?
The Holmes Road?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
the other thing was,
Well,
and we can have this discussion separately, but drainage easements, or lack thereof.
For a particular place, you mean?
Yeah.
Where?
Where?
Well, one is on Deering Ridge Road. We have a drainage easement from the Johnsons to
Into that
drain
Frog pond.
that stuff into that frog pond.
I don't know. I would
Okay,
have to
so
ask.
I think the answer to that is no.
At the very end of the road where we're removing?
Right where all the last catch basin is, dumps that water into that
Right where the
frog
outhouse
pond.
goes.
yes.
But,
Oh, you're not at the end of Bennett Hill right now.
no,
You're not
I'm
on
up
that.
on Deering Ridge Road.
It's where the porta potty.
I wasn't privy to that either, but I do know that the ditches that were there already did dump in that same area. And that is,
My guess is that we're now gonna put more into that frog pond area, because there used to be some that made its way across the road, right? And I know you guys replaced that culvert, but it's a culvert, it's not a captured drainage in a bunch of catch basins, right? Other than that, there's a couple of other little things that, and I'll talk to you and David about that.
Okay.
Okay.
We're still on for tomorrow, 10:30?
As far as I know, here?
Yes.
Okay. As long as my gal shows up.
Okay.
Anything else? I'd entertain a motion to adjourn then.
So moved.
All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Good